Dear friends, I am grateful to the organizers of this conference for providing a platform where leaders of the Jewish world can discuss current issues, and we have much to discuss. First of all, on behalf of the leaders of the Euro-Asian Jewish Congress, I would like to express our deep appreciation for the firm stance of the United States in the fight against terrorism and devoted support for Israel. In these challenging days for the Jewish people, we need a true strategic partner and friend standing behind us. We are highly grateful for the unequivocal stance against terrorism, the unconditional support for the people of Israel, and the provision of much-needed help to our state. We're living through a difficult time for our people, not only in the state of Israel, but also beyond its borders. In addition to the terrorist attacks on Israel, we have witnessed fierce anti-Israel sentiments across the United States and Europe. In American society, debates on the boundaries of freedom of speech and protest have flared up again. In our view, this has to be rather straightforward. Freedom of speech ends where hatred and calls for violence begins. Any manifestation of hatred and violence against Jews and against any other people should be illegal. When it comes to Israel, criticism of its action is acceptable just as criticism of any other state is acceptable. Calls for its destruction and the denial of the Jewish people's right for self-determination are unacceptable, just as similar calls are unacceptable regarding any other state or people, and there can be no other interpretation of this issue. Regarding the legality of calls for a global intifada or open support for terrorist organizations recognized in the U.S., this is a question that American society must find its own answer to. But we hope this answer will be unequivocal and serve as an example for the free world. We are grateful to American lawmakers for their attention to this matter, offering proper control and taking necessary measures. In turn, we, the leaders of the organized Jewish world, must develop initiatives and plans to address the situation. In my view, in cooperation with the United States and European authorities, we need to rethink the education system on Middle Eastern issues. Chairs and professors, funded by states and organizations that sponsor terrorism, a one-sided and distorted view of reality. We see the results of this with our own eyes, and this cannot persist. Middle Eastern studies should include Israeli professors and have a balanced curricula. For many years, we have advocated for broad education on the history of the Holocaust and can say that we have seen some positive developments. It is time to take responsibility for the honest, truly pluralistic, and academically verified teachings of the complex Middle Eastern reality. It will require many resources, but we have no choice. I would also like to address my colleagues, fellows, and representatives of the Jewish world. We must approach the word anti-Semitism with particular caution. We cannot afford to dilute this most essential term. But that is precisely what happens when we label everything as anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism has boundaries clearly defined by the global Jewish community. We must approach it responsibly, detect and convey to society what anti-Semitism is and what it is not. I would also like to use this platform to address Israeli leaders. It's time to realize you are responsible for the future of the entire Jewish people. This is not just a matter of political affiliation and preferences anymore. The very existence of our only Jewish home on this planet is at stake. Therefore, it's time to grasp the immense responsibility and act accordingly, taking every other step with great caution and seriousness. The darkest hours in our history have always revealed the greatest strength of our nation's spirit. Yet the most remarkable periods in Jewish history were always accompanied by our unity. Unity was driven by trust, and trust was acquired by exceptional leadership with the highest moral standards. We, the leaders of the organized Jewish world and international Jewish organizations, were never politically affiliated and took an obligation to support any fairly elected Israeli government. However, With no intention to interfere in politics itself, we cannot but express our deep concern over the heated political atmosphere in Israel at such a fateful moment in time. Our people deserve and have a right to demand full transparency, accountability for every word and action, and an open dialogue on our future. We call on all the members of the government and the Knesset to fully comprehend the magnitude of the hour. We are at a crossroads. Each step taken could shape the life of the entire Jewish people for decades and generations to come, and there could be no coming back. Therefore, there is no place for political intrigues, blackmail, and narrow interests. There is a place for mutual respect, duty, and even self-sacrifice, the very qualities that the Israeli people have been demonstrating on the battlefield and home front for nearly 9 months. We expect you to live up to them. It is time to face one of the most challenging periods in Jewish history with dignity. We do not have the privilege to fail. I thank everyone who works for the good of our people, and I hope our call will be heard.